Hello everybody, Ollamh here, and today I wanted to talk about Doctor Who. Now this is not a Geek Trivia or Geek Corner review or a 5-Count Friday. This is just a regular Submersion into Dementia. This is just a regular vlog, my thoughts and feelings on the announcement and a lot of the backlash and the whole kerfuffle that's going on with this. So they did announce the next Doctor. They're calling it the 13th Doctor. Technically, this is the 15th Doctor, because there was David Tennant's Doctor using the regeneration energy to heal himself, storing it in his hand, and then that using up the regeneration. Plus, there's the War Doctor. So, technically, yeah, this is the 15th. And, of course, the huge news is that they have cast a female in the role of the Doctor. And this has caused a lot of issues on both sides of the argument as to whether this is a good idea or not. Some people are saying this is the best idea ever and it's about time. Some people saying this is the worst idea, the worst Doctor ever. There are some people saying this is going to save the show. There are some people saying this is going to destroy the show. Honestly, we have no idea at this point. We don't know how this person's going to portray the Doctor. We have no idea how this Doctor is going to be. It could be great. It could be bad. It could be middle of the road kind of meh. Because ultimately, it has nothing to do about gender. It has everything to do about how the person portrays the role, how they do in the role. Do they take the role on and make it their own, or do they just do what they're told and not really get into it? And over the long history of the show, we have seen various different versions of the Doctor. We've seen some people who just kind of muddle along. They don't really understand what's going on, but they go along with it. We've seen people who really take the role on and say, no, this is mine. I'm going to make it unique. I'm going to put my own personal spin on it. We've seen both sides. We've seen, there have been good Doctors. There have been bad Doctors. There have been mediocre Doctors. There have been Doctors that didn't really seem to understand what was going on. They just they liked the role and just kind of muddled through it. No matter who is cast in the role, we're not going to know anything until a few episodes in. So you can say this is the greatest thing, this is going to be the best Doctor, but if you're basing that strictly on the fact that the person cast in the role is female, you're talking out your ass. Same thing as if you're saying that it's going to be horrible because the Doctor was cast as a female was cast as the Doctor. If you're saying that it's going to be horrible because of that one simple fact, you are talking out of your ass. You do not know what you are saying, you don't know what you're talking about, and you have no basis for predicting whether it's going to be good or bad. Until we see a person in the role, we have no idea how they're going to be. We have no idea what type of Doctor this is going to be. We have no idea about anything, really. I mean, even looking at what the person has done previously, you can't tell how they're going to be in this role. Now, of course, there are some people that are saying that, well, okay, you cast a female as the Doctor, congratulations, but that's not enough. There are some people that are saying it's not enough because the actor is still white, the actor is still straight, the actor is just a female, they're not trans, which that one doesn't really, I don't really understand because, yeah, technically the Doctor would be transgendered because started life as a male, through regeneration, is now female. Still has all the same knowledge, all the same memories, all the same, the personality changes with each Doctor, but you still have all those memories of being male and now you're female. Yeah, the character can now be said, much like the Master, can now be said to be transgendered. But they say there's not enough diversity in the show, and yet, particularly since the the restart of the show, the majority of the relationships that have been shown are interracial relationships. You have Rose and Mickey. You have Donna and Tom, wasn't it, that she wound up with? The latest one of the latest companions, Billy, is an African American lesbian. They want everything. They want the Doctor to be everything. If it's not the Doctor, it don't mean shit. Which is utterly ridiculous, because particularly with Doctor Who, the companions make the show. The companions are as important, if not more important, than the main character of the Doctor. I think the vast majority of the people that are saying that, well, this is not enough, really have never watched the show. They've never really watched the show and never really gotten into the show. And the other thing that I have to say about that is this is progression. This is being progressive. This is progressing. And a lot of people seem to think that you're not progressive if you haven't reached your final goal. If you haven't reached point B, you are not progressive. You are not progressing. You are somewhere between point A and point B. Except for the definition of the term progression is moving from point A to point B. Once you've reached point B, you have progressed as far as your goal. Progression is taking those steps. That is progression. That movement is the progression. If you are moving and helping take those steps, if you are helping move and change things, you are being progressive. Whether you're talking about changing the world idea of gender and sexuality, or if you're talking about moving from one job to another, if you're talking about personal improvements, if you are talking about realizing your dreams and reaching that goal, as long as you are moving towards that, you are being progressive. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, this is a huge deal. This is huge. This is, the sci-fi lead character is becoming female. Yay! This is huge. But this isn't the first time. The entire Aliens series, Ripley, was the strong, independent female character that was the lead of those movies. Kind of like with Star Trek Discovery. That's another one where everybody's like, there's this huge kerfluffle over the fact that the captain is female. And it's like, what about Voyager? What about Captain Janeway? She was in charge of the ship. She made the tough calls. She made the tough decisions. She was strong. She was independent. She led the crew through the entire show. So, even Star Trek Discovery, she's not the first. The captain of Discovery is not the first female captain for a Star Trek show. But people have such short memories, I think, that they don't remember that, hey, this was a thing before. So they look at it and they say, well, this is different from what I'm used to and what I've seen, therefore this is a huge deal. And it's not. Sci-fi in particular has always been very focused on equality. Ever since, I look back at the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, where Princess Leia took charge of her own rescue and saved the guys that are supposed to be saving her. Strong, independent female character. They have been around in science fiction in particular for a long time. The Doctor being female is nothing new. It's nothing earth-shattering. It's another step. It's another brick in that same pathway, following the characters like Ripley and Princess Leia and Captain Janeway and so many other characters in the past. It's not new. It shouldn't be startling revelation. It shouldn't be a big deal. Is it going to work out? I hope so, because I like the show. I hope she does a good job with the character. I'm not going to judge her because she's one way or the other because she's female. I'm going to judge her based on how she performs in the role. And that's the only thing you can really base her her being a good doctor on. As always, I am interested in what you guys think. Do you love the female doctor? Do you hate it? Do you think it's going to be the greatest doctor ever? Do you think it's going to be the worst? Do you think it's going to save the show? Do you think it's going to destroy the show? Or are you kind of like me in the middle of the ground and saying, we have to wait and see? Leave a comment down below, send me a tweet or a post on our Facebook page, and let's talk about this. As always, thank you very much for watching. And don't forget to prod the subscribe button down below so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
If you want to see some crazy,
Cheerio!
You should meet me and my friends. Even though we got
Beneath the dust of centuries lies on force. The capped mushrooms grow deep in the forest, and you'll have to ask the king and the queen for the...
If you live in California, for example, you actually have to make $140,000 a year in order to qualify at above middle class.